Hello everyone, it's Rose Coleman coming to you, not live, but a recorded video here in my craft room on Friday, November 11th. Happy Remembrance Day, everyone. May we pause today and pay respect to our military who work so hard, and the military that have gone before us to have fought for our freedoms, and may we never take them for granted. So thank you all. If you are in the military, have husbands in the military, I thank you all for your service today. Okay, so today we are going to make a fun fold card. I was showing this card from my Technique Club. I'm just going to bring in the card. This is the inspiration card, and some of you had asked about the measurements, and I thought it is a fun fold. It's a neat fold that will stand on your mantle like this, and this is my inspiration. So we're going to make this style of card, and I'm going to share with you how it's made. It's super easy, and you have no wastage from a piece of cardstock. So I've got some pieces cut here. We're just going to move these off to the side, and I'll explain them as I use them. Once again, we are playing with the Spruced Up Bundle, and we are making a card base today with Night of Navy. So I have a piece of Night of Navy that I've cut down the long side at 4 1/4 inches. So 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and we're going to make a cut. We want to cut this down to 6 3/4 in length. So let's extend that arm out, and we'll cut that at 6 3/4. And then I'm going to pull it back to 5 1/2. I'm going to score it. And this creates the flap at the top, okay? So then this piece that's left over, we're going to pop that into the trimmer, and we're going to cut it at 1 1/4. And I like to use this side of my paper trimmer, the increments, so that I can hold on to the cardstock on the left with my hand. So 1 1/4 inches. And that is the piece that will be attached at the bottom, right? So that goes down here. And then this piece is perfectly sized to be our middle anchor piece. Isn't that fun? I love this style. Okay, so I'm done with the paper trimmer. Actually, I do need to cut a piece of basic white, and I'm going to cut that, let me just measure here. The basic white is going to be the same as my vellum, which is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. So I need a piece that size. So let's go ahead and cut that 4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so we've got that. That's for the inside piece, because with a dark cardstock base, you want to definitely put in an insert. Okay, so moving on, we're going to just use my bone folder here and reinforce that top score line. I have some snowflake paper. This is actually from the gnome paper, and I've cut this at 1 inch by 4 inches, and they're going to go on the top and bottom. So let's do that first. We'll get the glue on those and glue them down. I'm going to start a new glue so we don't have any problems. Okay, so I'm just adding my glue to the back side of my DSP. Whoa, it's really warm here in my craft room, and I find when it's warm, the glue just really wants to ooze out, and that's way too much. So I'm just going to grab a little scrap piece of cardstock from my trash, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fix this. Even though I'm recording, it's still like real life crafting, right? I'm just going to pull off some of that excess glue and throw that in the garbage. Okay, so we're going to put these layers on the bottom piece and the top piece, like so. There we go. Okay, so then to put the bottom piece on, some people were asking, oh, how do we anchor that? I'm just going to lay this right down at the bottom. Leave it there, not touch it. And then I'm going to add some glue to the back of the Night of Navy front layer. So I'm going to put glue across the top and the bottom. You could use tear tape or your tape runner, whichever you prefer would work. And the only tricky thing is making sure this bottom piece stays put. And you can hold them both down with your fingers like this, and then you can come in here and anchor the top and the bottom. It's easy peasy. It's like a bridge. I guess you could call this a bridge card. We're just going to square that up. Whoop, wiggle room. The glue gives me some wiggle room. Okay, so make sure that's straight. There we go. And then I have a piece of the beautiful, beautiful vellum that I've been playing with all week. I love this snowflake vellum. That's going to go on top of my Night of Navy. So I'm going to flip that over, and the dark background makes the snowflakes stand out so I can see exactly where to put my glue. So I'm just going to put a little bit on these thicker parts here. And then I can anchor this down, maybe a little bit here and there. Okay, so that should be plenty of glue to hold that down. And we'll just lay that in place. And there's the front of the card. Now, I wanted to use the fitting florets because it is like totally amazing. And the dies, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I'm going to bring them in. The Fitting Florets collection, of course, we have the Framed and Festive is a Christmas stamp set that is not going to be available after Christmas. This is only while supplies last, as well as the embellishments and the beautiful, beautiful paper. So those three things are not available after Christmas. So you want to grab those as soon as you can. I would encourage you to purchase the entire collection. And when you do, you're going to get an email from me with 9 cards that you can make, a PDF tutorial with 9 cards. That is my gift to you for purchasing the frame florets in the month of November. And you definitely want these dies. I love, love, love these dies. This one right here is the one that I've cut using Night of Navy cardstock to get my oval ring. We're going to use that on the card today. So I want to share with you where that's coming from. Okay, so that's going to go on here with my liquid glue. So let's go ahead and put that down. We'll grab a little bit of glue and we'll glue it right down. I love navy, Night of Navy for Christmas cards. It goes so well with silver foil. Anyone else like Night of Navy? I love it. Okay, so we're going to put this right in the center of these snowflakes. I really love the background with that flocking on the snowflake vellum. Okay, so I'm stuck on here a little bit of glue on my desk. Those little glue bits are always all over the place. Okay, so we're going to put this off to the side for a second. I'm going to bring back my silicone mat. So what I've done is I've used the spruced up dies and I've cut out the frames. I've used this one and I cut out a basic white inside piece. Of course, you get the outside piece too, but I'm not using that today. So I just put that in my little bag of, I have a ton of stuff. From this week, look at this whole entire bag I have of like outlines and inside pieces, and you can mix and match and make tons of cards. I did go ahead and use from the dies, I used this one right here and I cut silver foil, and I also used the smaller ornament and I cut the white, basic white, and I did a silver. So that's where these pieces are coming from. So I'm going to bring in my color scheme here is Night of Navy, Balmy Blue, and Cherry Cobbler. So let's ink up our large stamp with Cherry Cobbler. And we're going to stamp that right onto the die cut. I love pre-cutting my die cuts and putting them on the silicone mat so I can see the background. And then I just hover over top of my die cut and then lower down and even pressure. And there we get that beautiful cherry cobbler ornament. And then same thing for the circular ornament. We're going to grab a block, put that on, and we're going to stamp with Balmy Blue. Easy peasy. All right, so, and as I mentioned to you before, the dies are strong enough. You can actually cut through 2 layers. Let's make sure I get lots of Balmy Blue ink on here. So you can get double time, right? Double time when you cut your dies first and then stamp them. All right, so there we go. We've got our stamping of our ornaments done. Now we're going to bring in a little bit of glue, and I'm just going to add a teeny tiny bit up here on the top of the ornament. And of course, I don't think I did that one through the adhesive sheet. I should have, but I didn't. But that's okay. Everything, I'm just going to go ahead and just add a little bit of glue on the edges. I was going to say everything doesn't have to go through the adhesive sheet, but if you've got your silicone mat here, you can use your liquid glue and just add a little tiny bit whoops, that one went flying. A little tiny bit of glue to the edges and you will be just fine. Okay, so let's see. We're going to put the top of the ornament on this cherry cobbler one. Let that set for a second. And while I'm just going to let that set over here in the corner. While that's setting, I'm going to bring in my scrap paper. I've got some scrap white and I want to stamp whatever brings you happiness. And no, I think I'm going to actually stamp Merry Christmas. I'm really liking the Merry Christmas, and I know that it fits on what I want to do here. So I'll show you my other sample in a second. But I'm going to stamp Merry Christmas on this basic white piece with cherry cobbler. I'm going to bring in my double oval punch. Love my double oval punch. Going to punch that out like that. And we're going to pop that up onto a silver scallop oval, like so. Okay. All right, so now we're just going to bring in our glue and add a little bit of glue to the back of the white piece. Put that onto my silver foil. Make sure you don't use too much liquid glue so it doesn't ooze out onto your foil, because it'll look really messy and dull and you won't like that look, I promise you. You want to make sure that you're not getting glue everywhere with the liquid glue, so just use it very sparingly. And if you need to, you can grab a block and lay on top of there until it sets. Okay, so that's done. Now what? We're going to take our ornament, flip it over, and we're going to add some dimensionals to the back. 2 dimensionals is enough, I think. 1 at the top, whoops, and 1 at the bottom. And we're going to put that onto our card front. It's going to go right in the center of this oval. Love the cherry cobbler with the Night of Navy. Such a great color combo. And then my circular ornament, I'm going to put it right here. So what I'm going to do to keep everything all in the even plane, I'm just going to put a dimensional right there next to my ornament. And I'm going to put this on so it's stuck off to the side just a little bit. And then I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to pick up that sticky outline so I don't get glue on my fingers. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put my silver outline around there just like that. Love it. Okay, so then we're tying all this silver in. So then pick up my greeting, and that's going to go down here. So I think for this one, I do like I mentioned, like to keep things in even plane so we don't have like higher pieces on the card so that it's really too chunky to go through the mail. So I'm just going to add 1 dimensional down in the corner, and the rest is going to be liquid glue. Just hold that in place. Love the Merry Christmas on the front. Okay, so the inside piece is our basic white piece that I cut, and it is the same measurement as the vellum, and you're going to be able to get the PDF tutorial over on my blog. All these measurements will be over there, and you can totally make this card in like no time, right? Because it's super easy, and I love that it doesn't have any wastage. Okay, so I've got these 2 stamps on my block, and I'm going to stamp the inside with, I think I'm going to stamp with cherry cobbler, keep it all the same. You could use Night of Navy, or you could even stamp with Balmy Blue if you wanted to. I'll stamp the inside with cherry cobbler. Whatever brings you happiness, may it be yours this holiday season. I love that. And then we're just going to add our glue, and then we are done. What do you think of this style of fun fold card? I'd love to know. If you guys make this one this weekend or whenever you get a chance, let me know. I would love to see your take on this fun style of card making. And so as I promised, I would show you the other one. I did this one where I did the first part of the greeting on the front, and then the inside had that part. This one's this exact same card. I just did Merry Christmas on the front, and then the inside had both greetings. So I hope you like these card styles. I hope you'll try your hand at it. It's got a lot of texture, a lot of shine with the foil, and then the flocked snowflakes. Oh, I just can't stop touching them. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back on Monday at 9:30 Mountain Standard Time with my live video. In the meantime, have a great weekend and happy stamping. Bye-bye.